So in today's video, we're going to be talking about data types in Python. And what are data types? Data types are just like the different types of data we use. Okay, when we talk about age now, we store number in age as a variable. But when we're talking about name, color, or grade, we are not storing number. We store a text there. So this is what we mean by data type. And if we have different types of data types here, so the first one we have is just numbers. So numbers, data type, and other numbers now we can have integer or float. And what do you mean by that? I can have something like now age equals to what? 45, right? This is an integer because it does not have any decimal number in it. It does not have decimal, it's not having any remainder. So it's just like a single integer, and whole number. That's why it's called an integer. So if I should just go ahead and print type here, age. So I want to know the type of data this age variable is. So if I could just go ahead and print this, and I can see class int. So this int stands for an integer data type. So now I can have something like now height now, and in height I can just say something like, okay, let's say I have 45.6, right? And now if I should just go ahead and print also the type of this height here. See, now we're having two different classes here. So we're having an integer and we're having a float. So these two are both numbers, right? But this is a float data type, while this is an integer data type. So the difference here is that this is having decimal place here. We have a decimal number here. We have a decimal point here, but we don't have a decimal point here, right? So these are the two types of major type of numbers data type you'll be using. The last one is complex. That's complex serial number, but we won't be talking about that in this tutorial. So this is the first data type I would like you to take note of. And now we work with this data type in different ways compared to string, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So the next data type we have here now is, let me just put that in a comma here now, string. Okay, we have strings here. Okay, we have strings also, so I can just go ahead and comment this out and just make this int and floats. Okay, so we have string here also. So now strings is something like when we are talking about name, color, just like favorite color. So I can just go ahead and say name now is equals to Andrew. Okay, now you can see that the way we write this name now is different from the way we are writing the height or the age. You can see we have a quote here, right? We include this Andrew in a quote, that's a single quotation, right? And it doesn't mean, and I just have name 2 here also, and have it to be, okay, let me use a double quotation right here now, have it to be Paul. So I have Andrew now and I have Paul also here. Now we can see that this is enclosed in double quote, right? This is enclosed in a single quote. It does not mean actually you can use it any way you want it. Just be consistent. If you are starting with a single quote, you must end with a single quote. You can't end with a double quote while you start with a single quote, and you can't do it the other way around. So you must be consistent with what you started with. So if you should go ahead and print name right here, so I will see we getting our name on the terminal here. That's Andrew, right? So if I want to check the data type of this name, I could just like enclose this name in parentheses, then precede it with type, right? So now I should print this. I'm getting a class str, right? This means string. This is a short form of string. So that's how it works. So this is a string data type like this. So the next data type I would just like to talk to us about now will be what we call Boolearn. And what do you mean by Boolearn? Okay, so Boolearn data type are just like Boolearn data type are kind of different anyway. It means you only have two possible values. There are only two possible values for a Boolean data type, and that's either true or false. You can only use true or false in a Boolean data type. That's the only data type you can use in a Boolean data type, just true or false. Okay, and now if we are talking about a Boolean data, you can just say something like Ismail, and we can have it as true, or we can have it as what? Okay, I can just say, okay, let's have is female now. Have it as false, right? So these are the two types of data you can just enter into a Boolean data type. And now if I should go ahead and just print Ismail right here. So now we are printing Ismail and we want to print out the type of data of is female, right? Is female. So this is also working with a Boolean data type, and right here we are saying the class type is bool, right? And one interesting thing about this Boolean data type that we can do is, let's try this and see. Now we are adding Boolean data type with 5 and we are getting 6 in return. Why is this? Why is it like this? This is because this true can also be classified as 1, while false is also 0. Just like in computer, 1 is true and 0 is false. So this is how it works too. So if I should change this now to false, if I change this to false now and print it, you see we are still getting 5 right here because computer interprets false as 0 and true as 1. So I'll just return that back to the way it is. So we have strings now, and just note that you always include strings in the quotation, right? Note that we have Boolean, and this is always true, false or true. Okay, just like this. So now, next data type we have right here. So let me just quickly comment this out. Okay, we have numbers. Oh, we have strings. Okay, we have Boolean right here. So the next data type we have right here is called set. So there'll be another video more to tell you more about this data type in the future. So what is set? Set is a collection of unique elements in no particular order. So that is just set. Set is just a collection of unique elements but does not have a particular order. And one unique thing about set is that in set you always enclose it in equally braces, or you just have it like set and you have this like this. This is called a list. We'll talk about it in a bit. So this is set right now, and set can just be like, okay, you can just say, okay, student age, okay, let's say students, okay, you can just say, can we use let's just say students, okay, students room number, no. So we can just have a set right here, and we can just have 34, 56, 64, 32, 5, right? So this is just set. Set here does not really care about the order of the elements inside it. It does not really care about the order of the elements inside it. It just like have a list of elements, and it does not care about the order of the elements. So if I should just go ahead here and print, okay, student no, right here, and now we get this. You get it right. So let's comment our Boolean variables out. Don't need that anymore. So now we get this as our set right here. So if I should enclose this in parentheses also and just put type at the front here. So printing this now, we are seeing it as a type of set. But I said it can also be defined like this, right? So let's try that now. Let's just say girls number. So let's say there's a context and the girls are having numbers. So we can just say set right here. You have 1, 4, 5, 3, right? And I just go ahead, let's copy and paste this, and I just turn this to girls number. So printing this now, we have set, right? Because these two are both set, regardless of how we define them. Either we have a list, which we are talking about next, and we include it as set. And if I just like, okay, let me move this type so that you can see this value out here. So now we are having the value right here, right? So that's how it is. So this value itself is called a list. So this is a list, and a list is another data type here in which you just enclose some values, enclosing them in square brackets. So if I should have some values right here and just say, okay, Kano right here, and I just paste this right here. I just paste this right here. This is a list. This is a list. So I could just go ahead and print out this Kano. You will see it as a list, right? Now we are getting this as a list because it's enclosed in square brackets. And one thing that you should remember is that you enclose this in square brackets, but when you use this set notation, even when we print out these scales, let's see what it gives us. You can see it's giving us in a curly braces, right? We didn't use curly braces here at all, but it's giving us in a curly braces. That's to show you that, to tell you that set is identified by these curly braces. That's why it's to identify set. But a list is this square bracket. So that's how you identify a list. So that's all for that. So let's go back to list right now. So this is list, and list also can be in any order. But what's the difference between a list now and a set, right? We'll talk about that more in the future. So now the next type we're talking about is a tuple. And what is a tuple? Tuple are just like lists, but in this case they are enclosed in parentheses and not a square bracket. They're just like a list. But the only difference between a tuple and a list is that tuple are immutable. That means they are not editable. You cannot edit the value of in a tuple, but you can edit the value in a list. So I'll just go ahead and use this same thing right here. And okay, right here I just change this to this. And now I can run this. Now you see that we're getting like two different ways here. But if you should just go ahead and let's try and print the type of this. So now I want to get the type, I want to print out the type of these two. So now you are getting a list, right, and a tuple. These are the type of these two data type. This is a square bracket, and that's why it's giving us a list. But this is a parenthesis, and that's why it's giving us a tuple. And now what do you mean by is immutable? Tuple is immutable because you can't edit them. And we'll talk about this more in the future when we're talking about tuple, but just to show you a quick example of this. So I can say something like now Kano using the index of 0, and this means I'm trying to change this one, this item here, I'm trying to change it to 3, right? That's what it just means, and I want to try and print Kano again. So if I should try and run this now, you can see tuple. You can see something like, okay, tuple does not support item assignment. So this is what this is literally telling us. Tuple does not support this. So what if I should try and just like cut this out of here and paste it somewhere here? And now you see that this list will support this. Okay. So let me just print this list before we change it, so we can be clear about what we are saying. Now you can see that initially this first value here was 1, but we changed it to 3. So this is allowed when working with a list, but not allowed when working with a tuple. So, and the second to the last data type I'll be sharing with you today is called dictionary. Yeah? So dictionary is just like another collection of key value pair. Don't forget this keyword, key and value pair in form of key values enclosed in a curly braces. So we're also using curly braces here, but the difference between curly braces is that in this dictionary, we often use it to store like some data that are particular that we want to be able to like it easily recall them when needed. We'll work more with this later on. So let's say now you want to have detail. Let's say, okay, detail now. You want to have now, this is how you define a dictionary. So you just go like this, and it can be of any data type. Actually, it can contain multiple data type too also. So you can just have name right here. And what do we call the name here? You can just say Andrew, or I'm just go with Drew. So we call this name Drew now, and we want to have age here also. Age. And what do we, okay, let's use 23. So this is what we use for this. Now don't forget we are separating this with a comma before the next value, so we can just say height. So this should always be enclosed in a quotation also. Height, then we have a column here before this is the key and this is the value. This is the key and this is the value. Whenever you want to access this value, you put in the key, and okay, I'll show you that in a bit now. So we have height now, you can just say 6.1, maybe 6.2. Let's leave it that way. Or we can just say, okay, let's say it's 62.5 centimeter, something like that. So whenever we want to like access this now, we can just like, okay, let's try printing out detail itself, and let's print out data type of this detail. Okay, now we have these two, right? Okay, now we have this Andrew. We have this name Drew, age 23, height 62.5, and we have this class as this is a dictionary data type, right? So let me just comment this out, and the next thing we want to do here now is, if we want to print out the name, all we just need to do is to just type print recall detail, and in just, you can even see in just a square bracket right here. So it's giving me suggestion of the key right there. So I can just go with name and it will give me the name. Okay, I think there's a typo. I'm having two square brackets. So I'm closing it twice. So if you go with name now, it's giving me Drew, right? So I can also change this name. I just say detail, and I can change the name from Drew to Andrew. And now I can just try to print this name again. So here we go. So now we see we print the name first. Oh, this is right. So you see name we're trying to change, not the height. So let's go ahead and print this again. So now it worked right, right? You can see we print name first, then now secondly we change this detail to name, and we are printing this detail, the key of with the key of name, we are printing it again, right? And one thing we can do here is I just try and check the data type of this key, or the value of this key specifically. So that's a string, right? So we can even access the data type of each value itself. If I should go with height here also, now you can see height is float, and for sure age will be an integer. So age is an integer. So this is how you work with dictionaries too in Python. You define it this way and you can have it this way too. And the last data type I'll be showing you now is a kind of a special data type, and I'll just call it the non-data type. And this is just like when you want to define a variable first, but you don't want to assign any value to it, but you want the variable to be defined initially, or maybe you process the data and see that the variable was not present in data you process. So you just want to have it like, you can just have like age equals to none. So let's say you search through data and you could find the age, and you define the variable called age before, so you just have it as none that you want to, like, so that you know, so the client can know that this age is not present. So you could print out age right here. So let me just go ahead and comment this out. So you can just go ahead and print out age right here. All right, getting none, right? But what will happen if you try to print out the data type of age? So we are getting a class of non-type. So this is a non-type data type. So that was age. So a quick recap of what we've done right here. So we talk about data types here. Talk about the numbers. Here we have a number, this is an integer, and we have a float, right? A float number. We talk about strings, and talk about how you can use both single quotation and double quotation, but make sure you are consistent. What you use at the beginning of your string should be what you use at the end. We talk about Boolean value, which is true or false, and also talk about computer interpreting true as 1, false as 0, which we tested by using Ismail plus 5, and we're getting result. We talk about set. We talk about our set is just like a sequence of data in any order set together. So, and this is set itself. And now we talk about okay. We talk about list also. And list is just like a sequence of number 2 also that you can just like put together as one, and you can access each of them using this index. And we talk about tuple also. Why use square bracket for list but use parentheses for tuple? And the key difference between a tuple and a list right here is what we call list is immutable. Why? Tuple is immutable while list is mutable, which means tuple is not editable while list is editable, which is demonstrated by editing candle 1 to 3. That's index of 0. Then we talk about dictionary, which we talk about key value pair right here. This is the key, this is the value. That's how we just have our dictionary. Then we talk about the non-type data type for the last one, which is just like you want to have a variable defined, but due to how you process the data, the variable wasn't present. So this is when you use non-data type. So see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.